put together. Now we need to put on the top slats. So I've cut these to 85 inches so that they'll be just slightly longer on either end than the mattress. And the first thing you have to do is decide which side is going to be against the wall. Because remember, that has to be completely flush so that it will sit completely flush against the wall. So while you'll have a little lip out on the edge of your slat board on the side that is away from the wall, the side that is on the wall needs to be flush. So lay it out like so on your frame. I kind of just eyeball it on either end to make sure that we've got about the same amount hanging off of one end as the other. And then I also take some glue, and I just use basic wood glue, and I put it on it's underneath this board all along the length. And I'll ultimately do all of the intermediate boards and the board over there too, but it dries pretty quickly, so I kind of work as I go. So you're just going to lay this on here and make sure that it's basically, there's no point at which this extends over such that you couldn't get this whole side flush against the wall. So once you get that, then the fun really begins. Okay, so everything looks even, and I just take a drill bit that works out with my nails or my screws. I use screws, and I just bought a huge box of these puppies. They are, I think they're 3-inch, yeah, 3-inch coarse thread, you know, I don't know. Look good, they work fine, so whatever. Okay, so I do 2 holes, and so on the end here, basically, I just put my foot here so nothing moves. I make sure it's lined up the way I want, and then I just go in, pop off this, pop in your drill bit, and I do actually do these most of these as I go, as opposed to I'll pre-drill the center. I'll show you this in a second, but I do these as I go because the board may need some adjusting as you're throwing it in. So, and they'll go down in there, which is great. This is a really soft wood. So if you wanted to, and I don't, you could fill these. You know, if you don't want to see any screws at all, I personally couldn't care less. Okay, then, I mean, there's going to be a mattress on top of it for crying out loud. You kind of just keep going until you get all the way down to the end. So I would just go in line, pull this as I need to. Now, I'm just going to show you this, and then I'll do it myself, but just so that you know, when you go to put on your subsequent slats, I cut previously a little thing. Here we go. I always set things right where I can find them, and then I can't find them. So I cut this to be 1/2 inch thick because I don't want my boards right up against one another. So this way, and even though this is a little bit warped, when you nail, I mean, it's not ideal, but when you nail that, screw that end down, it'll be flush, so it'll be fine. But when I stick these on and I screw them down, I make sure that my ends are even, and then I make sure that there's this gap. I got another one down here somewhere, in between each of the boards. And by the way, should you really have all this wood behind you? No, you shouldn't, but do as I say, not as I do. So you put this on, you have your glue underneath, you drill. You go all the way across, and once you get to this point, it'll be your 12th, you'll have 12 total boards. Your 12th one will extend just a tiny bit. So it's just kind of like a decorative little lippy thing. And then everything will be drilled all the way around except for the middle. And this is where you get your quad workout for the day, because you'll literally stand on top of this and drill all 12 boards all the way back. So you'll have 2 screws, just like this one, in each board into each part of the frame underneath. And once you get that done, then we're very close to being done. So once you get that part done, come back and I'll show you how to finish the whole thing.